Welcome back. All right, so 11 games in the NHL tonight, and tonight hockey reminded me why it can be frustrating to watch. It also reminded me why I love to watch hockey. So we had 4 games starting at the same time tonight. Again, this is, it was a busy night. Did my best. And we're going to start things off with Dallas and Toronto. I do not trust the Dallas Stars. So it started again, and I say again because I've mentioned this in videos over the last, 5 years this channel's been, if the playoffs are on the line, if you sit the Dallas Stars down, you go, all right, all you have to do is win tonight, you go above the playoff line, they're like, nah. So it's Ottinger versus Shalgren in this one. Early bunting, chance tips wide. The shots on net are actually 3-0 for the Stars at 2.5 minutes. The Leafs are getting zone time, but no shots. And on their first shot, they score, and it's Sandin from Marner and Tavares at 7:22. The second Leaf shot was at 9 minutes and 10 seconds. The Stars had 5 shots at that point. So this is where, that voice starts to get a little louder. Klingberg has a rush chance, fires wide. Bunting tips one wide as the Leafs press, and then Tavares gets his 20th of the year from Nylander and Liljegren at 11:16. And that was a play off the face-off and only the 4th shot of the game for Ottinger. Not that Ottinger had a bad game. He did not. But, for Toronto, they're ahead 2-0. Leafs then press for another. Sloppy Stars. A lot of turnovers going on here. And the Stars get stuck on 5 shots for a while. Glendening then misses wide on a rush. Last minute, there's a press by Dallas. Klingberg is denied. Shalgren holds with 14 seconds left. The Stars, with that pressure, they draw a power play. So to start the second period, the Stars can't set up on that power play, and it's killed off. Liljegren's denied. There's too many Leafs on the ice, though. So there's a post for Hintz. There's a shorthanded chance for Kampf. He's denied. The Leafs do kill that one off as well. The Leafs then get a power play. Riley has a chance saved. The rebound's cleared there. Stars get a power play after the kill. So this is third power play and the final power play for Dallas on the night. It's killed off. The shots are 12-0 for the Leafs with 8 minutes left. This is after Dallas has had so much power play time and it hasn't gone their way. Sagan blasts one wide. The Stars press. Shalgren holds there. Last minute, the Leafs get a power play. So coming out of the second, the score's still 2-0. Ottinger's doing everything he can to keep the game close. Third period, 54-second Leafs power play to start. And Kasha scores from Riley and Marner at 52 seconds. So 2 seconds before the power play would have ended. Kasha scores to make it 3-0, and it was a one-timer. Not much chance for Ottinger on that one either. The Leafs press. The Lyubushkin shot goes out. The Stars are out of sync, as well as good defense by the Leafs. Radulov has a chance blocked as the Stars press. The goaltender gets pulled because why not? And so the empty netter is Mikheyev from Riley at 18:36. Toronto ends up winning this one 4-0. They go to 38-17-5 with the win. Dallas 32-23-3, making sure they stay below that playoff line. So that happens. 3 stars in this one: Shalgren, Tavares, and Sandin. Your shots: 13-10 Dallas in the first, 18-13 Toronto in the second, 12-9 Toronto in the third. Final shots are 40-35 for Toronto. Power plays: Dallas 0 for 3, Toronto 1 for 2. Hits: 42-31 for Dallas. Ottinger saves 36 out of 39. Like I said, he was excellent. Shalgren saves all 35 for a shutout in his first start. And there you go. The goaltending problems of Toronto are done. Shalgren's the answer. We'll go ahead and trade off Mrazek, I guess. All kidding aside, good game, good debut for him, and decent defense in front of him. And of course, if he plays by the Ben, Sagan, Radulov line that got thrown together. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Bonus breaks that lineup after tonight's game. That being said, moving along. Arizona continues to be the hottest team in the league with goal scoring. I'm not sure what's happening, but it's like Arizona looked at their stats and like 3 weeks ago and said, we're better than that, aren't we? Wow, we really can't score. Hey guys, why don't we try to get some goals? Okay, it's an odd strategy, but sure. So it's Vejmelka versus Montembeault. Schmaltz looks dangerous early on. It's Hayden that gets him on the board, though, from Louis Eriksson. Go Louis. At 1:57, that makes it 1-0 for Arizona. And then they press for another, and they get it. It's Stralman from Nash and Kessel at 3:52. The Habs get a power play. That was killed off. There's some momentum for the Habs after that ends. Byron's denied. Vejmelka holds. But then Dauphin scores from Petrie at 13:38. So the Habs are having a better second half of the period. Galchenyuk has a chance that deflects out, but the Coyotes get a power play. And shortly after that power play ends, we get a goal for Nick Ritchie. Yep, Nick Ritchie scores from Galchenyuk and Mosier at 18:34. So former Maple Leafs are all over this game. And then Krause, breakaway on a turnover, he scores at 19:49. So I swear Montreal had a better second after that period than they did in the first period, but Arizona's up 4-1. Also, Arizona's no longer in the bottom row of the power rankings. Tonight, they're not in the bottom row. I don't know the last time that happened, but it was a while ago. Second period, shots are 3-0 for the Habs at 3.5 minutes. Krause then has a chance fired wide. The Coyotes get a power play. Becomes a minute and 40 seconds of 4-on-4. Shots are 5-4 for the Habs. Everything gets blocked out, or everything gets killed off. 8 minutes in, it's 5-4 for the Habs in the shots. Armia has a shot blocked. The Coyotes clear it out. Shots are 10-4 for the Habs with 5 minutes left, but the Coyotes get a power play and they score on it. It's Clayton Keller from Gostisbehere and Krause at 17:48. The Habs get a power play and they score on it. It's Caulfield from Wideman and Armia at 18:47. And then Cole Caulfield scores again 8 seconds later from Armia and Petrie. So Caulfield with a couple of goals, and all of a sudden the score's 5-3 after the second period. Third period, Coyotes get a power play. It's killed off, no shots. In fact, the shots are 4-0 for the Habs at 4.5 minutes. In the second and third, the Habs had a good start to the period. It doesn't really matter. There's an early goalie pull by the Habs as well, as they're down 5-3. So Schmaltz puts it in the empty net. He stays on his hot streak from Clayton Keller at 15:42. And that'll be your final score. 6-3 for Arizona. They go to 20, 36, and 4. Yeah, Arizona's got to 20 wins. Montreal 16, 36, and 8. So rough night for Montreal, but again, this is that when the coaching bump is done, this is kind of how it works. So your 3 stars in this one are Krause, Caulfield, and Keller. Your shots, 11-7 Montreal in the first, 14-7 Montreal in the second, 14-5 Montreal in the third. The shots, 39-19 Montreal. So they get outshot badly by both Ottawa and Montreal, and they win both games by a combined score of 11-6. It does make sense. Power plays, Arizona 1 for 4, Montreal 1 for 3. Hits, 30-11 for Montreal. So Arizona wasn't wasting any time throwing hits either. Vejmelka saves 36 out of 39. So Wedgwood steals one yesterday. Vejmelka does it today. Montembeault saved 3 out of 7. Rough night. And then Caden Primo goes in and saves 10 out of 11. So, yeah, for Montreal, they're starting to look like Montreal again. Not the Montreal that, started picking it up after Marty St. Louis took over. They're kind of starting to look like the Habs before Marty St. Louis took over, which, again, it's predictable that would happen. And yet, at least Caulfield's still getting goals. That's the most important thing right now, is Caulfield's getting points. Next up, Anaheim in against New York Rangers. So as Anaheim continues to have this struggle trying to get points, the good news for them is teams that they're trying to chase down aren't playing very well for the most part right now. Thank you, Dallas. So it's Gibson versus Georgiev. Early jump for the Rangers. The Ducks had some pressure at 4 minutes, but Brodzinski gets a goal at 4:29 from Hedel and Schneider. The shots, in fact, are 5-1 for the Rangers 8 minutes into this. They played well off the start. Zegras was then robbed on a tip shot, and in the second half, Comtois deflects one in from Terry and Henrique at 14:05. Rangers get a power play. Anaheim does kill that off. Comtois exits. Looked like it was a knee injury or an ankle injury, and the way his leg twisted on the way down, I'm going to say knee, but again, we'll see if he's out for a while or how things go for him. 13.9 seconds left. There's a delay of game call, puts the Ducks on a power play. That rolls over into the second period. Not only did the Rangers finish the kill, I didn't see any setup by the Ducks on that power play. Then we get a press by the Rangers. That draws a power play, or it would have. What ends up happening is during the delayed call, the Rangers score. So it's Zibanejad from Fox and Panarin at 3:06. So that puts the Rangers ahead. The Ducks, though, do get a power play shortly after that. They score on it. At 4:53, it's Fowler from Henrique. So it's a tie game yet again. Trouba has a sharp angle shot that's saved. Zegras tries to go beast mode and take it through everybody. Doesn't quite get there, but he tried. Panarin denied on a backhand. The Ducks go to a power play. That's killed off. We go to the third period tied at 2. In the third, Zegras is denied and close. Lafreniere then had a rush chance that was saved. And just past the halfway mark, Derek Grant, he scores at 10:35 from O'Regan to make it 3-2 in favor of the Ducks. Rangers get a power play. Panarin has a chance to deflect out. The Rangers call a timeout with 44 seconds left in the power play. Whatever they discussed, it works. Kreider scores from Fox and Panarin at 13:40. Believe that's his 20th power play goal of the year. Remember, he's trying to chase down the team record held by Jaromir Jagr. The Rangers press. Gibson saves. So, we end up going into overtime, tied at 3. Rangers controlling early. Terry ends up hitting the side of the net on his attempt. Puck goes the other way, and it goes in. It's Fox from Panarin and Zibanejad at 55 seconds. The Rangers win this one 4-3 in overtime. They go to 38, 17, and 15. Same record as Toronto. For Anaheim with the loss in overtime, they're 27, 25, and 11. So they have 11 overtime or shootout loss points. That's what's keeping them in the hunt for a playoff spot right now. Your 3 stars are Fox, Panarin, and Henrique. The shots, 7-6 Rangers in the first, 11-10 Rangers in the second, 19-7 Rangers in the third. They get the only shot of the overtime. They end up out shooting Anaheim 38-23. Power plays, Anaheim 1 for 3, Rangers 1 for 2. Hits, 20-16 Rangers. Gibson saves 34 out of 38. Georgiev saves 20 out of 23. So, not a really busy night for Georgiev. Ends up getting the win. That's good to see for him. He definitely needs that kind of a boost right now. He's had some tough starts lately. So maybe it's a sign things are turning around. And again, for the Ducks, they do get a point. They're staying in the hunt, but the math gets a little bit tough in terms of how they're going to get there. That being said, moving along. Last game on this board is the New York Islanders and the Washington Capitals. So it's Varlamov versus Vanacek in this one. Good early chance for McMichael. They had a nice tribute for Backstrom as well for his 1,000 points, which of course he got that 1,000th point on the road. Shots are 3-2 for the Caps at 7 minutes. The Islanders press at 8 minutes, but the first goal of the game is scored by Washington, and it is Anthony Mantha scoring from Kuznetsov and Sherry at 12:21. Green has a blasted saved. Beauvillier is denied in the final minute. It's 1-0 Washington after the first. Second period. Dobson's denied on an early press. McMichael has a net drive that goes wide. The Islanders score. They challenge it for goalie interference. It counts. They say no goalie interference. Nelson from Chara and Dobson at 4:55. That means there's a power play for the Islanders. The Caps do kill that off. Caps press at 8.5 minutes. Nelson ends up hitting both posts on a shot, and it goes out. So very close to getting a goal, but both posts and out. Caps score. It's challenged for offside. That does come off the board for offside. That's pretty automatic when they say they're challenging for offside. I just take the magnet off the board. I'm like, that's coming back. So Palmieri would score, though, from Bailey and Pajot at 17:02. That puts the Islanders in the lead 2-1. And the Islanders, when they lead after 2, 21-2-1 was their record on the season when they're leading after 2. So they're very good leading after 2. But the Caps really want to keep themselves in the hunt for a top 3 spot. So Barzal to Wahlstrom, near miss there. Kuznetsov tries a Michigan. He tried it. Didn't quite work. A little bit of technique work on that, and he's going to get himself a goal doing the Michigan. Caps press at 4.5 minutes. We end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4 shortly after that. Backstrom's denied on a rush. However, it is Janssen Fialbi from Orlov at 10:13. So he gets his first NHL goal. Good. Kudos. Excellent for him. And then Ovechkin scores from Kuznetsov at 15:02. So with that, Ovechkin is now officially past Jaromir Jagr. He only has Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky to track down for the overall record in goals scored in the National Hockey League. So the Islanders pull the goalie, but before the 6th attacker can even really get to be part of the play, they score. It's Lee from Dobson and Nelson at 18:01. So it counts as the 6-on-5 goal, I guess, but just barely. So that ties the game and forces overtime. In the overtime, Caps control early. Ovi's denied on a rush. The Islanders take over the puck. Beauvillier's denied. Gives the Caps back the puck. Schultz is denied. The Islanders get it back. The Islanders have a chance. Caps aren't able to clear. The Islanders change, I should say. They changed lines. The Caps couldn't, but the Islanders weren't getting shots on that either. Nelson has a shot that's blocked. There's a Caps 2-on-1. That was defended out. Kuznetsov's denied twice, and then Ovechkin's robbed in the overtime as well. That forces a shootout. It is a long shootout. Anthony Mantha would get the winner for the Washington Capitals. They win 4-3 in the shootout. They go to 33-18-10 for the Islanders. 24-24-9 is their record. 3 stars in this one: Ovechkin, Janssen, Fialbi, and Varlamov. Your shots: 11-9 Islanders in the first, 10-7 Islanders in the second, 10-9 Islanders in the third. In the overtime, 7-1 for Washington. So your final shots are 32 shots each. Your power plays, just the one. That was for the Islanders. They don't score. Hits, 30-23 for the Washington Capitals. Varlamov and Vanacek both saved 29 out of 32. So pretty entertaining game. The Capitals, they get themselves the 2 points. So if you're a Blue Jackets fan that's thinking maybe the impossible could happen, the Caps aren't interested in the impossible happening. That being said, I need to change boards. Next up, Pittsburgh and Nashville. So the Nashville Predators at home, and they've all of a sudden seem to have turned it on over the last couple of games. I'm going to throw out their power rankings mention as well. I've bumped them up quite a bit from where they were in the last power rankings. Nashville's just back. So it's DeSmith versus Saros in this one. The shots are 3-1 for the Pens early on at 4.5 minutes. We get a long stretch without a whistle. Simone has a rush chance that's kicked aside. The Penguins get a power play. That's killed off. We then get a power play for Nashville. That one was killed off as well. Sissons with a tip he can't quite get in the net, but with 1 second left, Ekholm scores from Forsberg and Duchesne. So it's one of those buzzer beaters, and that makes it 1-0 Nashville after one. Second period, early power play for the Pens, becomes a 4-on-4. Ekholm's denied during that 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. Penguins get another power play. It's killed off as well. And then Gensel scores from Letang and Crosby at 14 minutes. So that ties it up, and then the Predators press with 5 minutes left, so they're trying to get the lead back, and they do. It's Jeannot from Yossi and Sissons at 15:40. Penguins then had a good shift after that, trying to get that pressure back, but Tolvanen on a fast break, he scores from Yossi at 17:03. So Roman Yossi keeping his name in the Norris conversation with the game he had tonight. That makes it 3-1 for Nashville. We then get a late late power play for the Pens. Solid penalty kill by the Predators there. So there's only 23 seconds left of that Penguins power play to start the third period, and Nashville kills that off. Then there's a press by the Predators that draws themselves a power play. Tolvanen's denied, the rebounds cleared. That power play's killed off, but they get another. That was killed off as well, but now you're taking 2 minutes off the clock each time, right? Kapanen's denied on a fast break with 4:21 left. Nashville goes back to the power play. That's killed off, and then Pittsburgh pulls the goaltender with 2 minutes left. That allows Trennan to score pretty much right after the goalie gets on the bench at 18:10 from Sissons and Yossi. Makes it 4-1, and before the game's out, Kapanen has another rush opportunity, which is denied. So your final score is 4-1 for Nashville. They go to 35-21-4. For Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's 36-16-9 with the loss. Your 3 stars are Yossi, Saros, and Jeannot. Shots, 12-11 Pittsburgh in the first, 11-10 Pittsburgh in the second, 13-4 for Pittsburgh in the third. Final shots, 36-25 for the Pens. Power plays, both teams were 0 for. Pittsburgh 0 for 4, Nashville 0 for 5. The hits, 36-14 Nashville. DeSmith saves 21 out of 24. Saros saves 35 out of 36. So, entertaining game. Saros playing fantastic. And Saros is 9-0 now after he's had a night off. So if Riddick's able to, buy some nights off for Saros, it definitely will help Nashville get a better seed in the playoffs. Because we have to assume they're going to make the playoffs, right? And yeah, I think they will. Now, a team that may not is Vegas. They really need to turn this around quickly, and I don't know that they can. We've got Brossoit versus Hellebuck in this one. The Jets wearing the beautiful Heritage jerseys, which I thought about wearing for the review, and I thought, I'll wear my Blake Wheeler. So Coughlin has a rush chance that's denied, and really the first 5 minutes of that period, Vegas is in complete control. Vegas comes out playing like they should. Desperate hockey, looking for, trying everything they can to get that lead, right? Dubois tips one wide when he had a rush opportunity. Lowry tips one wide. We're 9 minutes in. There's no shots for the Jets. So they're getting opportunities, but nothing's hitting the net. Shots are 6-0 for Vegas at the half. And then Kolesar has a fight with Stanley. And maybe that was meant to pick up the Jets. Maybe it was Kolesar trying to fire up Vegas. Either way, it ends up working pretty well for Winnipeg. Jets get a couple of shots, and some momentum starts to go their way. There's a press by Vegas with 4 minutes left. However, on a rush opportunity is Blake Wheeler that opens the scoring from Stastny and Sandberg at 18:08. And then Connor would score from Dubois and Stanley shortly thereafter, and he wired it 5-hole. So it's a good goal, but when it goes through the 5-hole, there are going to be comments about, well, you want to see the save there. So it's 2-0 Winnipeg after 1. Second period, early press by Vegas. Carrier fires one wide. Theodore has a chance that's saved and held. Scheifele can't bury one. Stanley's then denied. And then Raw. He scores from Carrier and Stevenson at 6:49. So again, Vegas gets a little bit of momentum. They're pushing for the tie. But at 9:04, it's Nick Ehlers that gets a goal. And then at 11:09, it's Stanley that gets a goal. And it is the Stanley goal that ends the night for Laurent Brossoit. So in his return to Winnipeg, Brossoit lasts 31 minutes and 9 seconds. Eichel has a rush chance go wide now that they're down 4-1. Vegas presses with 4 minutes left. However, the Jets would end up getting a power play, and they score on it. It's Scheifele from Connor and Morrissey at 18:25. Or was that a power play goal or no? No, it was not. That was after the power play was done. So that's at 18:25. So after the power play ends, Scheifele scores that from Connor and Morrissey. Connor with another good game. It's 5-1 Winnipeg after 2. But it's the Jets. And you know that leads with the Jets, I mean, it's a 4-goal lead. What could go wrong? Well, we get a power play for Vegas, and they score on it. It's Pietrangelo from Patrick and Coughlin at 4:34. Jets get a power play. That's killed off. Dodonov has a rush chance that's saved, and then Amadio makes it a closer game from Lecision at 9:31. And halfway through the period, the shots are 12-3 for Vegas. And suddenly, it is a 2-goal game. It's not a given that Winnipeg's necessarily going to hold the lead because we know Vegas can come back. Vegas has been known as a team that comes back in the third. However, Jets get a power play. It was 2-10 for Marchessault, so Marchessault gets 2, and then he gets 10 for chirping. And Morrissey scores during that power play from Connor and Wheeler at 10:33. Vegas tries to answer. They get themselves a power play, and during their power play, Lowry scores for Winnipeg. Yep, from Schmidt at 13:34. And then after that, Connor has a shorthanded rush that wouldn't go before Winnipeg kills off the power play, and they end up holding on. They win this one 7-3. They go to 28, 23, and 10. Don't look now. Vegas is 32, 26, and 4. They're above the playoff line. Winnipeg now is in the race. They're in it, and I'm here for it. This is a team that has gone, I believe they said 6-2-1 in their last 9. I'm impressed. They're finally playing like the team that they seem to be on paper. That's great. So your 3 stars are Stanley, Lowry, and Morrissey. It was a Gordie Howe hat trick for Logan Stanley, so you kind of have to give him that, right? The goal, the assist, and the fight. Shots 9-7 Winnipeg in the first, 12-7 Vegas in the second, 19-7 Vegas in the third. Final shots 38-23 for Vegas. Power plays, Vegas 1 for 2, Winnipeg 1 for 3. Hits 27-16 for Winnipeg. Brossoit saves 9 out of 13. Logan Thompson goes in, saves 7 out of 10. We can still have that conversation about goaltending with Vegas. We can have the conversation about who's missing from the lineup and how desperately they miss Mark Stone. On the other side, you've got Hellebuck saving 35 out of 38. That was a pretty good game for Hellebuck. So things are going right for the Jets. Things are going absolutely wrong all across the board right now for Vegas. All right, next up, Boston. There's a little bit of controversy in this. Now, full disclosure, as a Bruins fan, I totally understand if people are going to say, nope, that was the right call. We'll get to that. So it's Ullmark versus Fleury in this one. Early press by the Hawks. Fleury denies Pasternak. The shots 3 minutes into this are 3-1 for the Bruins. The Bruins would lead in shots throughout this game. And Marc-Andre Fleury, kind of a hero for keeping this thing close. Hawks get a power play. That's killed off. Bergeron's denied from in close. Coyle was denied. DeBrusk can't bury one either. Doc has a rush chance that's saved. The Bruins get a power play. That's killed off. The shots are 11-2 for Boston with 7.5 minutes left. So again, Fleury is the reason this is scoreless. Lazar then blocks a shot for Seth Jones. So there was some good shot blocking going on by Boston in that first period as well. So we go to the second. Lafferty's denied in the first minute. One thing you worry about is Linus Ullmark not getting a lot of shots. When he gets those opportunities, is he still going to be sharp? Riley has a rush chance that's saved. The Bruins end up getting themselves a power play. Howla has a chance saved just as it's coming to an end. Fleury is, again, keeping it scoreless. There were opportunities as well during that power play that I didn't have on the board. There were other opportunities. Gustafsson has a chance that's saved. Ullmark then holds the next chance that comes in. DeBrincat fans on one as the Hawks are trying to push here. Clifton then has a rush chance that's saved and held. Bruins get a power play. Fleury, again, big saves for him during that penalty, and he kills it off. 44.2 seconds left. The Hawks get a power play. So now you're going into the third. It's a scoreless game. The Hawks have a power play to start. And how many times have we seen like a team dominates and then they lose the game because they get goalied? Bruins finish the kill, though, to start the third, and then there's a power play for the Bruins that follows. 9 seconds after the power play is over, Boston does score. It's Bergeron from Marchand and Hall at 4:43. There was some discussion about that goal, but they don't challenge it. Hall during that play was caught in the ear by a skate. He ends up staying in the game, but that was some scary stuff there. So the Hawks would press, and they end up getting the goal. This is where that getting goalied thing starts, right? Hagel from Caleb Jones and McCabe at 9:36. He tipped it in. No chance there. The shots at this point, 43-15 for Boston. And the game was pretty even after that. You could see the Hawks had some energy. Things get punchy with 8:53 left. The Blackhawks again, some jump after the goal. DeBrink gets denied. There's some momentum for Chicago here. Coyle scores. It's waved off right away for goalie interference. Cassidy challenges that, and I looked at it on the replay and I went, yeah. Fleury had an opportunity there to make that save. I didn't see anything that prevented him from making that save. Is he contacted by Smith? Maybe a little bit, but it's like a little bit of this. Like there's been way more egregious that I've seen called as goals. So I was expecting it to be called as a goal. I was expecting the challenge to be successful. Jack Edwards, to his credit, for all of his and people complain rightfully, he was saying straight out, yeah, it's not going to be a goal. He straight out, and while Andy Brickley saying, no, that should be a goal, Jack Edwards said no. And Edwards is right. It was waved off. And so I came out of that going, I think I know what goalie interference is, but maybe that one threw me off. So again, fully admitting, I cheer for the Bruins. If people want to say, no, that goal should not have counted, valid, fine. No problem, but I was kind of scratching my head and thinking, now that goal's off the board, is this where they lose the game? Because that can happen, right? So after that, the Hawks have the power play because it's an unsuccessful challenge. The Bruins did kill that off, though, and they get the game to overtime. So, hey, at least a point, right? The Bruins, 4-3 in overtimes. Hawks 5-6 in overtimes. So I looked at that and went, well, if Chicago wins, they go to 6-6, and Boston's 4-4. Everything's evened up. The Hawks controlled on the faceoff. Hall has a chance then to save. The Hawks clear it out. But at 1:40, Grzelcyk gets the goal. He scores from Hall and Pasternak. And I, had a little moment of, they're not going to challenge that, right? Was there any reason they had to challenge that? Okay, good. So Bruins win this one 2-1 in overtime. They go to 37-18-5. Chicago 22-30-9 with the overtime loss. Your 3 stars are Grzelcyk, Bergeron, and Fleury. Again, I honestly think Fleury should have been the first star. Without the saves being made by Fleury, we're not talking about this game going to overtime. I like Lankinen, but if Lankinen starts this game, it's probably a 3-1 win in regulation for Boston. So the shots in this one, 14-4 Boston in the first, 21-7 Boston in the second, 11-9 Boston in the third, 2-0 Boston in the overtime. Final shots, 48-20 for the Boston Bruins. Power plays, Boston 0-4, Chicago 0-3. Hits, 30-28 for Chicago. Ullmark saves 19 out of 20. Fleury saves 46 out of 48. Great night for Fleury. So this is the kind of thing that if they decide to put him on the market, if he's willing to go somewhere at the deadline, a game like this will tell a GM, you know what, he's still good. He might still be able to win us a series. That being said, Detroit, almost that close. Now, if you're an Oilers fan, watching what happens here in Vegas, you gotta be cool. Vegas loses, we win, great. And the start of this game tells you this is a game the Oilers are going to win going away. And then it ends up being close. So it's Grace versus Koskinen. Early press by the Oilers, and they score. It's Shore that gets the first one from Ryan and Broberg at 1:59. That's Broberg's second career assist in the NHL. and they have a perfect record when they score first. They still have a perfect record when they score first, but this is an ugly way to get there. The Oilers press for another. They get it. It's McDavid from Keith at 3:13. The shots are 5-0 Oilers 4 minutes into this. And all I kept thinking was, well, it's another game. Detroit's just going to get demolished. And when Hyman scores from Nurse and Draisaitl on their 6th shot at 4:35, A, that ends the night for Thomas Greiss, and B, made me think, I don't really need to pay as much attention to this game. It's basically over. Nope. So Wings press to answer. Eventually they do, and it's Mark Stahl. He scores from Seider and Hirose at 8:46. Now, the Oilers get a power play late in the period. They score on that. It's Yamamoto from McDavid and Barrie at 18:37. So after the first period, it's 4-1 for Edmonton. Game's done. That's it. They're not going to blow a 4-1 lead at home. Second period, shots are 2-1 for the Wings at 5 minutes. Detroit was suddenly playing better. They're limiting the Oilers' chances in the second period. The Oilers get a power play. That's killed off. It's a too many men on the ice call. Blashill was beside himself with how mad he was at the linesman for making this call. So he was pretty adamant that this should not have been a penalty. You guys can let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Blashill wasn't happy. So the shots are 6-5 for the Wings with 6.5 minutes left. Again, they're down 4-1. So when there's so many games on, this is where I'm saying, okay, this game is not one I really need to track as much because it's 4-1. That was about to change. Vrana has a break, Nurse defends it, and then Gagne scores from Rasmussen at 18:06. Former Oiler, Sam Gagne. Wings had some momentum coming out of that second period. They're down 4-2. Third period. Early press by the Wings. They end up getting a power play out of that, and they score. It's Zadina from Hirose and Leddy at 2:18. And then 34 seconds later, Stahl gets his second goal of the game from Gagne, that former Oiler, and Adam Ernie. So that ties the game at 4. The Oilers call a timeout. Coach Woodruff or Woodcroft kind of lets his players have it. That was an interesting, and again, understandable, right? You're mad because you had a 4-1 lead at home and it's gone. So whatever Woodcroft tells his players works. Kane scores from Yamamoto and Bouchard at 4:15. That scored on a rush, as that made it 5-4. And again, I'm expecting, okay, so Detroit's done. They're not. Raymond scores from Larkin at 6:32. Suddenly it's 5-5. And it is a messy, sloppy game, but it's very entertaining. The Oilers get a power play. That was killed off. McDavid with a net drive. Seider defended that very nicely. Gets the puck off his stick and does it without taking a penalty. But then Fogle scores from Archibald at 14:35, and that one goes in off of Stahl. So Stahl has the 2 goals in this game and accidentally ends up helping what would prove to be the game winner go in for Edmonton. There's a near miss for Hugh Levy as the Wings press during a 4-on-4 that was taking place. There's a goaltender pull with 2:10 left, and that gives Kane the chance to hit the empty net. He scores from Draisaitl and Ceci at 18:51. The Oilers win an ugly one, 7-5. They go to 33-23-4. The Wings 24-29-7. This helps them with third place, as now they're 2 points ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights. Your 3 stars, McDavid, Stahl, and Fogle is the 3rd star. Your shots, 17-12 Edmonton in the first, 8-5 Detroit in the second, 15-10 Detroit in the third. Final shots are actually 35-32 for the Wings. Power plays, Detroit scored on the only one they had. Edmonton was 1 for 3. Hits are 16 apiece in this one. Greiss saved 3 out of 6, gets replaced by Nedeljkovic, who saves 22 out of 25, and because Nedeljkovic allows the game-winning goal, he's the one that takes the loss. Koskinen saves 30 out of 35, and again, kind of an ugly game, but he gets the win, and that's the important thing. Koskinen's got an excellent record over the last, 6 weeks, and for the Oilers, they got to feel like they got away with one tonight, and sometimes those are important when you're getting closer to the playoffs. So, I need to change boards. Next up is New Jersey and Vancouver. Vancouver had lost 12 straight against New Jersey. One of those baffling things, those baffling matchups where you're like, I don't know why this team can't beat that team, but it happens. Tonight, Vancouver slayed the Dragon. So it's Dawes versus Demko in this one. Podkolzin with a rush chance that's saved. Zacha gets shaken up along the boards. Hunt would end up opening the scoring from Miller at 3:34. For JT Miller, he now has a 13-game point streak. The team record is 15 games. He's getting closer. So that was scored on a rush. That's the 5th shot for the Canucks. New Jersey only had 1 at that point. The shots are 6-2 for the Canucks at 7.5 minutes. So it looks like they're doing a good job of keeping down the New Jersey Devils. Wouldn't stay that way. Miller's denied on a cross-ice chance. Chase on with a net feed, that's cleared out. But then Höglander scores from Horvat and Besser at 10:59, so it's 2-0. Then Jack Hughes with a net drive. He was denied on that. Very good game for Jack Hughes. Miller can't bury one as the Canucks crash the net. The shots are evening up, though, in the second half. VC has a net drive that's saved. And then at 17-17, it is Graves scoring from Sharon Govich and Hamilton. The Canucks would try to answer, but coming out of the first period, the score is 2-1 in favor of the Vancouver Canucks. And you could see some momentum for New Jersey starting to take over. Second period, evenly played early. Chason has a net feed that's cleared. And then Hughes would score from Bratt at 4:25. So Jack Hughes on the board with a goal. Jesper Bratt has been scoring at a pretty good pace this year. And it made me think, I need to do another one of those videos on players we're not talking about that we should be. I think Jesper Bratt should be in that video. Shots are 4 apiece at 7 minutes. And then Horvat just steals a puck and he puts it in the net. He just basically decided, I'm going to do this. And he scores at 8:34. And then while the fans are still celebrating that, Pearson scores from Myers and Miller at 8:51. So 2 goals in 17 seconds makes it 4-2 for Vancouver. That ends the night for Nico Dawes. In goes John Gillies. The Canucks press with 9.5 minutes left. Pearson's denied during some pressure. And then Bastian scores from Sharon Govich and Hughes at 11:55. So with 5.5 minutes left, the shots in this period were actually 11-10 for the Devils. And the Devils would keep that advantage through the rest of the period as well. Devils had some momentum late. They get a power play. Not only that, but Mott gets 4 minutes at 18 minutes and 2 seconds. So that rolls over into the third period. Third period, Bastian tips one wide. Hughes was absolutely robbed. And then a shorthanded goal, and it's Horvat on a goal that looked a lot like the other one he got in the second period. He scores from Hughes and Miller at 1:24. So Quinn Hughes with an assist there, and then the Canucks finish off the kill. So 4-minute power play, instead of helping New Jersey to tie it, it gives Vancouver a 2-goal lead. Devils try to answer. The shots are 4-3 for New Jersey 6 minutes in. With 10:55 left, the Canucks get their first power play of the game, and it looked like it. No shots. Killed off, no shots, and worse yet, no momentum for Vancouver out of it either. But at 12:10, Lammikko scores from Shen and Mott, and then the Bruce There It Is chant started up in the crowd. With 3:49 left, the Devils get a power play. They are unable to score on that. And Vancouver, they win this one 6-3. They go to 30, 24-7 with the win. New Jersey 22, 33-5 with the loss. Again, it's the first win versus New Jersey for Vancouver in 13 tries. Your 3 stars are Horvat, Miller, and Jack Hughes was the third star. Shots 13-10 Vancouver in the first, 14-11 New Jersey in the second, 11-7 New Jersey in the third. Final shots are actually 35-31 for the Devils. Power plays, New Jersey 0-3, Vancouver 0-1. Hits 25-16 Vancouver. Dawes saves 17 out of 21. Gillies saves 8 out of 10 in relief. And Demko saved 32 out of 35. Pretty good night for Demko overall. And again, New Jersey showed they're very dangerous offensively. But the Canucks are scoring at a pretty good rate right now too. And they get a little bit closer to that playoff line. Much closer than they were when Bruce took over. All right, next up. Colorado. The Avs are back. So that tough time they had for like 2 weeks there, I think it's over. It's Kemper versus Quick. Quick clears a dangerous tip at his net as well. Kings press at 3.5 minutes. There's a post for Murray. And that was the second for the Avs early in the game. Avs get a power play. They don't hit the post here. They score on it. It's Nichushkin from Rantanen and McKinnon at 6:36. The Avs press for another. The Kings had a power play. That was killed off. But coming out of the first period, it's 1-0 Colorado. And they were the better team through a lot of that period. Second period, pressed by the Kings at 4 minutes. Good forecheck, I thought, by the Kings as well. And keep in mind, the Kings are shorthanded by 8 guys that are out of the lineup or 9 guys that are out of the lineup. It's rough for them right now. More than has a near miss wide. The shots are actually 2-1 for the Kings at 7.5 minutes. They did their best. Against a loaded Avs team, they did their best here. Kaliev fires one wide as the Kings press. Zone time for LA, but they're not hitting the net. Byfield wires one wide. Quick has a loose strap, no whistle. They actually took his helmet off and then had to put it back on. They did eventually blow the whistle, and he had a little chat with the ref. He had a good sense of humor about it, but yeah, that could potentially be scary because you could see the strap on the back of his helmet wasn't on there right. Spence has a blast that's blocked. Iafallo has a chance to deflect wide. The Avs had 7 shots in a row at this point in the period because the Kings are just missing the net. The Kings are getting opportunities, they're just not hitting the net. Iafallo has a net drive that's defended. Dursey has a shot that's blocked with 1:21 left. The Avs get a power play. They score on it. It's Comfer from Makar and Nichushkin at 19:29. One of those last minute goals for a team in the period. Second period specifically makes it 2-0 Colorado after 2. Third period, Kings get a power play. Moore has a chance, kick the side. Spence's stick decided now was a good time to die, so that helped the Avs clear it out. They kill it off, 1 shot. And then Rantanen on a turnover from Burakovsky at 5:03 makes it 3-0. The Kings then score. It's challenged for offside, so take that magnet off the board. And yeah, it's not a goal. Shots are 3-1 for the Avs 8.5 minutes in, so they played a pretty good defensive game to start that period anyways. Quick saves as the Avs press for more. Manson was already up to 10 hits in his debut with about 6 minutes left in the game, so I assume Josh Manson might have had more. Newhook with a rush chance. That was saved by Quick. 6:31 left. The Kings get a power play. Not only is it killed off, but it had no shots. So the Avs don't even let them really get anything going. In the last minute, the Kings get another power play. Unsuccessful. Your final score is 3-0 for Colorado. They go to 43-13-5. LA 33-21-8 with the loss. Your 3 stars are Nichushkin, Rantanen, and Kemper. Colorado outshot them in the first 10-8, outshot them in the second 10-5, and then LA outshoots Colorado 10-7 in the third. Final shots 27-23 for Colorado. Power plays, the Avs perfect, 2 for 2. Kings 0 for 4. Hits 39-17 Colorado. The Kings announcer jinxed it. He said both goals have been scored on the power play. There's been nothing scored 5-on-5, and I swear it was 30 seconds later the Avs got the 5-on-5 goal. So Kemper 23 saves on 23 shots for his 25th career shutout. Nice milestone right there for him. Jonathan Quick 24 saves on 27 shots. Not on Quick this one because it was a shutout. So big win for Colorado. And yeah, they extend their lead atop the Central and continue their hunt for another President's Trophy. All right, last game of the night, Florida in against the San Jose Sharks. And I'll say this much for San Jose, they're not making it easy. San Jose doesn't make it easy on anybody right now. It was Knight versus Reimer. Now, it was supposed to be Bobrovsky in this, but because Bobrovsky got hit in the face with a puck during their last game while he was on the bench, 16 stitches to his upper lip, they didn't put him in net. He didn't feel good to go, so he's not in net tonight. We'll see how many games he ends up missing or if this is the only one. So, Gadjevich, fans on one as the Sharks press. 5 minutes into this, the shots are 2 apiece. So the Sharks are keeping pace with them for now. Power play for the Sharks, and they score on it. It's Couture, scoring from Hertl and Meyer at 8:19. Forsling was down on a shot block. He would exit. He ends up coming back into the game later. Didn't seem to be 100%, but man, Forsling's a warrior out there. Sharks get another power play. That leads to a shorthanded goal. Huberdeau at 11:21, and then the Panthers kill off the rest. So that really switches out the momentum, right? Pressed by the Panthers with 7 minutes left, but the next goal is actually for Milosh of the San Jose Sharks. He scores from Hertl and Vlasic at 13:58. And that one went right through Spencer Knight. Knight would probably want that one back. So it's 2-1 San Jose after the first period. And yeah, they outplayed Florida. Then the rest of the game takes place. Second period, the shots are 4-1 for the Panthers. 6 minutes into that period. Panthers get themselves a power play. Reinhardt had a chance that was blocked. That's killed off. Reinhardt had a few opportunities during that one. Then we get Marchment and Milosh kind of going at it. There's 4-on-4. I've seen people mention in the comments, and I've started to see this too, that linesmen are jumping in immediately. Guys aren't being allowed to even have a fight, so we're getting a lot more of the 2 minutes of 4-on-4 because they're both getting roughing calls. And I'm not sure what that is, but this is where when people say, why aren't referees held to account? Why don't officials sit down with these? They do. When you're starting to see a trend, it means that they've been talked to, there's been some sort of a meeting or some sort of a memo, and the memo is along the lines of whatever you're seeing in the game. And in this case, we're starting to see linesmen jump in immediately so that there's no fight. And then we can have a debate about whether or not that's less safe. I think it's less safe for the linesman, and I don't know that necessarily accomplishes a lot. Yeah, we'll see if it continues. So the Sharks end up getting a power play during that 4-on-4, so we had 27 seconds of 4-on-3. Then there's a delay game call, which gives them 22 seconds of 5-on-3. Forsling was back out shot blocking during that, though. So that power play ends, and then Huberdeau and Barabanov start to kind of go at it, but they're blocked out before they can fight too. So we go back to 4-on-4. Carlson has a rush chance that's saved. Reinhardt's denied on a net drive. Last minute, there's a press by the Sharks. 33.8 seconds left. The Sharks get a power play. It was Uyghur. Goes for unsportsmanlike conduct. I don't know what he said to the officials, but him applauding from the box, he's probably lucky that a ticked-off official didn't just throw another 10 minutes at him. Then there's a near miss for Couture. During that power play, it rolls over, though, into the third, where Florida finishes the kill. After the kill, they also get the lead. Or no, they tie it, I should say. Vetrano scores from Achari at 3:29, and the shots 6 minutes into that period are 7-2 for the Panthers. Panthers score. Goalie interference call. They take that one off the board, and I put right there, yep, that's the right call. That was fine. Marchment drills Luostarinen into Reimer. I think he owes Luostarinen at least a beer. And Marchment's one of those guys who he's very strong, and I sometimes wonder if he knows his own strength, if he knows the limits of it, because that was a play where, yeah, he could have injured Luostarinen. So yeah, that goal's taken off. Bennett fires high on a rush opportunity. The Panthers get a power play. Reinhardt nearly scores. He had opportunities there too. It's killed off. Gudas then has a blast that's saved. Huberdeau's denied on a net drive. It's all Panthers at this point. It really is. And then in the last minute, there's some pressure by the Sharks. That gets us to overtime. In the overtime, Bennett has a chance that's saved and held, but at 1 minute and 11 seconds, Vetrano scores from Forsling and Reinhardt, gives Florida the win. They go to 41-13-6 with the overtime win. San Jose 26-25-8 with the overtime loss. Your 3 stars are Vetrano, Hertl, and Marchment. Your shots, 11-7 San Jose in the first, 12-9 San Jose in the second, 16-3 Florida in the third, and they had both shots in the overtime. Your final shots, 34-26 for Florida. Power plays, 0 for 2 for the Panthers, 1 for 5 for San Jose, including the applauding one. He was applauding over his head just to make sure the referee saw it. Hits, 20-18 San Jose. Knight saves 24-26. Reimer saves 31 out of 34. And there you go. Now, first time I've done this in a review this season. With tonight's results, Vegas has played 62 games. They have 68 points. Your first tiebreakers, regulation wins. They have that tiebreaker on everybody that they're against for this playoff spot. They have 26. Dallas, 58 games played. They have 67 points, so they're 1 point back. They have 21 regulation wins. Vancouver, 61 games, 67 points, 24 regulation wins. Winnipeg, 61 games, 66 points, 24 regulation wins. Anaheim, 63 games, so they've played more games. They've got 65 points. They're 3 points back, and they have 18 regulation wins. So Anaheim has to flat out beat these other teams to make the playoffs, but that's how close things are in the West. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.